Hello, everybody. Jack Schoenberger here, and for this Marketing Monday, we're going to start talking about actually some conversion optimization. And is all part of the series that I started a few weeks back on digital marketing growth hacks to double your business with. And while no single one of these is going to necessarily double your business, the incremental increase in each of the topics as we go through these will compound and actually start growing your business geometrically. So you'll soon see probably a double in revenues and double in profits if you follow these. Or even if you follow just a few of these, you're going to see increases in your number of new clients. You're going to see an increase in your average order value, and you're going to see an increase in how often your people are buying. And those are the three keys to really growing your business. So let's get started with the conversion optimization and some quick, short kind of case studies on what's working right now. So welcome mats, which are available actually under Sumo, and can increase and can have a big impact on conversions. And Sumo.com, it's not really that expensive, and it's a quick and easy way to put a welcome mat on your site. So basically, what a welcome mat is it covers the entire screen as they enter your site. Excuse me, and has a big impact on conversions as far as people signing up for a course if you combine it with a strong CTA. So something to think about is, and you can have it time that it pops up within a few seconds or as soon as they get there. And especially if it's coming like off of an ad where you're talking about, learn how to create your own online courses in this case. And they would see this when they first come up and they see that it's free, and they'd opt in for an email address. And then the email address takes them into a drip campaign. So it's good for the buy now people, as well as because I don't think you're going to lose anybody over that. And it's also good for the people that are just thinking about buying, that might be buying within the next, 60 to 90 days, which we're only 90 days out at the time of this recording. We're only 90 days out from Christmas this year. Hard to believe, but that's where we're at right now. So another thing that really increases is that, uh, you know, everyone goes out there and trying to find places to use stock photos or get stock photos for free. What we're finding out is that real images in place of stock photos actually outperforms stock photos. And I think the same can be true, is going to prove true. And I think we've seen an example of it even with people in our group, um, with people that are doing their own videos instead of necessarily using stock video for their video advertising or their how-to videos. Okay, case in point, Armory Survival doing the how-to videos, and it really got attention, and people see it as being more real. So in this case, by just swapping out the stock photos with real pictures of real people, these are the types of lifts that we saw in conversion rates, and that's pretty significant. You can increase signups actually by hiding the sign-up form. So on a lot of sign-up pages, you'll actually see the place where they have all the fields to fill in. What Vendio did is they basically hid it. They have a place still making the offer, still have the call to action, but they have a button for sign up now. And then from there, it takes them to the sign up page. So it's not as obvious, of course, but it still achieves the same thing. And when they click on that button, they're actually making a micro commitment to sign up now, so they're ready to fill out the information instead of seeing the information fill up and then saying sign up now. A small change, but big difference as far as increase in conversions go. We'll use the term friendlify forms to bump conversions, but really what you're doing is you're turning it into more of a dialogue, right? So in this case, they took, and this is for a car dealer, of course, they take a look at it And instead of just having the forms filled out the way, what they're doing is they're saying that they're basically filling out a email or a text, and they're just filling that in as part of the inquiry. And wherever they clicked on, in this case, the vehicle that they're interested in, it actually shows the vehicle that's pre-filled out in their form and what it's listed at and that type of thing. And then at the bottom, it's pre-checked for the thank you. Yes, I'm interested in receiving news and special offers from Kelley Blue Book. And this is how Kelley Blue Book is increased their conversions, anywhere from 25 to 40% by just adding this type of a narrative. And it seems more user friendly. It seems more natural, and for at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that it actually increased conversions. So if this is something that you might make available on your site, or think about doing it this way, or even filling out your forms this way, even if it's not something with dynamic that they're inquiring about a specific item, you could even make your standard form more of a narrative, where they're saying, "Hello, my name is, and I'm filling this out because I'm interested in receiving a free book. My address is this, and I look forward to reading your book," or whatever, just to make it more conversational, and test it and see if it doesn't increase your conversions. The biggest thing I think is that it'll stand out, and it's something new, and it's a pattern interrupt. It's an attention getter, and I think definitely worth testing. The other thing is we're finding out is that, and I used it kind of on the sales page for the coaching club, with a kind of a very minimalistic kind of look to it, just like a letter, kind of long form sales letter, which seemed to be converting pretty well. And we really haven't been pushing the site that hard because some of the changes that are getting ready to happen, and upgrades to the coaching club, with Stephen working with To Market Media and moving forward with that effort. But this page, as you take a look at here, is just really, really busy, right? Asks for a lot of different information. And, the key with the lander is you really, or even a home page, you really, if you're trying to sell something, anything, then you want it to be focused really on that. So here's a case where, and this is the Hoth, and they specialize in link building and local SEO. Very clear, only one thing, right, that they're looking for is they're looking with a clear benefit plus a CTA. And they got, and their conversion rates, if you take a look at that, 945% higher conversion rate, through the roof, right? So you went from this, and this basically scrolled down through all to a landing page that basically just says this. And again, probably coming off of a good ad, and maybe a good video that presets it, pre-sells it, pre-indoctrinates them to get ready to fill this out. But really, only one thing to do when they get here is either fill it out or not. And if they click through on an ad that from anywhere that pre-sold this or talked about it, chances are they're going to go ahead and fill this out. Reduce the number of fields. Anytime you can take friction out of the sales process, and including filling out a long set of forms, it helps, right? So short forms always outperform long forms, and even if it's not a function of people not wanting to share that much information or worried about spam, I think it's just, when they look at it, just the amount of effort, believe it or not, I think creates the friction in it. So you see the difference, even going from just 5 fields to 7 fields to 9 fields. Just the addition of 2 extra fields drops the conversion rates by a point or two, and also increases the cost per lead acquisition, increases that pretty significantly, a couple dollars per. Another technology that's great to use is push notifications. Some people like them, some people hate them, but at the end of the day, especially when used as part of abandoned cart recovery, they're showing what we're seeing is up to 9 times being able to recover that. So basically, if they abandon the cart and they've opted in for the push notifications when they first come to your site, all of a sudden you can push out and say, oh, by the way, your products are still waiting, come back and complete the purchase. And a lot of times you think that they abandoned it because they're just not interested in purchasing anymore. That's not always the case. It could be that they're looking at it on their mobile phone and they're on the subway or in a store or whatever, and then they get distracted or they have to go do something else, and it's still sitting in the cart, and that's a good reminder to bring them back. Or the opposite, they're sitting down, on their desktop. They start an order, somebody calls them, the, it's time to go read bedtime stories to the kid, to their child, and they get up and they leave and they forget about it, or they close out the browser before they do, and they kind of forget about it. Well, just a nice pop-up reminder is bringing a lot of people back. So just something to test. You can see some of the on this specific case study from Google. You can take a look at that. The other thing is storytelling. Everybody knows that the best way to the truth and to get people to understand things is a good story. So by telling a story, to going to a longer form of page at times can increase conversion rates. Not only conversion rates, but longer time on page if they take the time. Now it's got to be compelling. It's got to be interesting writing, to do it. But if you take the time and invest it, things like bounce rate, where people come on and jump off before a few seconds are over, affect your SEO. The longer they stay on page, the longer Google sees that they're engaged. The longer they stay on the page, the longer they're engaged, the higher the conversions. It all makes sense. So what you need to do is take a look at, turning things into a story and grabbing people's attention. And it was interesting. I was reading another article that talked about the fact that because text is actually easier to read on a mobile phone, because sometimes video doesn't work depending on if it's optimized for mobile video or not. Sometimes it actually hurts conversions to have video versus text. And so the best thing to do is to have both available, I think, on your site. To have the video and then maybe have a link right underneath the video for a text version or for a transcript of this page, or a text-only version of this page. Click here, and that gives them the option to do that, and then you'll see a higher conversion rate that way. Just something to think about, something to test. The other thing that helps out is to make sure that we're using inline validation, and that to validate the different lines in there, and it actually increases form completions, right? That fixes it as they're going through, instead of them getting an error at the very end. So as he went through, what this doesn't show is it wasn't when they click register that it showed all that each one kind of popped up as it goes on. So inline validation. This we talked about kind of before. You don't want any distractions when people are coming in to a landing page from an ad, especially if you're going for a specific call to action. So dramatic improvement if you take people from a link from an ad to a landing page that doesn't have, and as you can see up here, doesn't have the any links. They've got nowhere else to go. There's only one thing for them to do, and that's either to fill out the form or not. So having no navigation links on the landing page can increase your conversion rates by up to 100%. So, and that's something to think about, especially with the e-commerce, whenever you're having ads that are pointing to a page right now on your site. And I'd start out with the higher, that makes the time and effort of building a separate landing page with no navigation links worth it. Would be your higher margin items that would be worth that. But I think you'll definitely see an increase in your conversions if you're going, especially if you're going from pay-per-click ad, whether it's on Facebook or on Google, to a landing page with no navigation links, and they basically have the option to buy or not buy, or to get, and then combine that maybe with a welcome mat or an exit pop to get more information about it. I think would be a great way to go for your landing page. Also in today's day and age, especially with so many people being on mobile now and doing most of their browsing from mobile, especially if you have people monitoring that can receive phone calls, you really should add a click to call number on your website, and it should say on your website, not on you website. So just adding a click to call converts 10 times better than web leads. The fact that you get people on the phone a lot of times, and I think Nick Konechny will tell you this. He does he closes a lot of people over the phone when they do call. That it's a lot easier to close people over the phone that call you and are interested in talking to you than it is to continue them down the sales funnel to get them to that point. You can then speed up the funnel, take them from some information to moving them to ready to buy a lot faster on the phone, and it reduces friction again. For e-commerce sites and anybody that has products that they're selling out and can encourage people to do hashtags, like hashtag the product name, hashtag your site's name, hashtag this, and then you can go out and search for those images, and you can encourage people to take pictures of them using the product, unboxing the product, of one of their kids wearing the product, or the product in use out in the field if you're doing more of the outdoor stuff, and then just include that on the website. And they're showing that by just having user generated content on there, that in this case Vanity Planet got a 24% bump in sales by just starting for this product, by just adding some additional user generated content, and then giving instructions on how how people that are watching could be included and participate in it, right? And it appeals to the whole idea of being part of something and participating in it. So I think it's a great idea if you have a business that I think the Pocket Shelf would be a natural for this. I think Armory Survival. I think absolutely in different people, that were wearing T-shirts from American Built, or any of the clothing lines from American Built, the baby stuff from American Built, all that user-generated content. I think encourage it, get people to put stuff on there, and I think you'll see a bump in conversions. Another thing is to actually, again, going back to the fact that a lot of people are using phones now to search everything, to actually add using an app like SendSonar.com, which actually did the source on this, of course, but to check them out and at least explore and test uh, having people able to click to text. Some people would love to call and want to talk. Some people just in this day and age, when I even watch some young people, some relatives of mine, a teenage girl and that we're sitting at the table with, and her boyfriend on the other side of the table, and just sitting there and like texting each other instead of talking. But they were probably texting each other about the grown-ups at the table, I guess. But anyhow, in today's day and age, people are a lot even more inclined probably to text. But if you take a look at these numbers, here's a guitar manufacturer that increased revenue by 98% by letting people text them questions and answering the questions via text. So just another way to enhance the user experience, putting it in a format that they feel comfortable with, find that sweet spot and meeting them more than halfway, reducing friction in the funnel or the friction in the sales process, and being able to close even via text. We talked about this and one of the other, talking about different pricing and all. And in this case, we're just taking a look at the plus shipping offers. So, and I know I do. Like whenever I see it's free plus shipping and it's for a book and the shipping's $7.95, and especially nowadays when people are like sending things through the post office for, you know, um, the flat rates and everything, I think people are like thinking, yeah, that's not very legitimate. The shipping and handling shouldn't be that much. So in this case, just split testing the price and dropping it, 295 and 395, ended up performing, plus or minus close to three times better than even the 495, right? So I can only imagine for the people that are doing it at 795 for shipping and handling for a book, if they would drop it down. And again, it's okay to lose some money on that front end offer if you've got a back end offer where you're going to recoup it rather quickly. So in this case, they could do the order of the book and shipping and handling. You could list the shipping and handling for $395, so you're not necessarily losing anything on the shipping because should be able to ship it for that. Or even if you're not, even if you're eating $3, that on the thank you page, that they can say, oh, by the way, thanks for ordering the book. If you want to see if you want to start reading the book right away, we have the first three chapters in PDF version here for free. And if you'd like to add a video version of it or an audio version of it, because if you're someone who likes to listen to it or read it, so you can listen along or read along or move back and forth to basically whatever you like the most. When you're in the car, you can listen to it. When you're at home, you can read the book. You can, if you want to read the first couple chapters and follow along until the book gets there. You're basically giving them a couple different options, but you can charge for the videos. I wouldn't charge for the PDF, but I would say, charge for a modest sum, and even if it's, for the $7 now to recoup what you lost by not charging ship and handling up front. But now you're just stacking value, and it doesn't take you long. You make one video, you have an asset now that you can use to stack value, and you can recoup that money that way. So you get a bigger conversion on the front end. Even if you only get a percentage of conversion on the thank you page offer for the videos, and that's something we haven't tested yet, and I need to test and get some numbers on. But if you do that, or should I say, some of my clients, have them test it, and we'll get some better numbers. But I think that you'll see that you are coming back to more break even on your lead magnets, and maybe even making a little bit of profit up front as you're garnering leads. But if you're not, it's still okay because your offer on down the line, when you convert them over to sales, it should be a big enough percentage that overall you are generating a profit on every lead that's coming in, right? So it's okay. So just something to try, just split testing the different prices for the plus shipping offers, free plus shipping offers. Background colors, for whatever reason, blue seems to do better, and these are just different ads and that were tested. And and this is the part that's kind of interesting about, okay, so the conversions were higher, although the actual how much we were paying per click cost more, right? So there was a bigger spend on the blue ads, and 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 was like 33 cents per click. The overall conversion on the back end was higher. So again, this is a case almost like one before. The cost of goods sold in this case are, was the per click. So even with the per click being 10 cents higher than the next per click amount, just the amount of sales and the amount that converted over from the pink was significantly higher. So ultimately, you have to take a deeper look at it, and you can't only go by cost per click. You actually have to take a look at conversion and make sure that you're seeing the truth, and test different colors and different background colors to see if it makes a difference.